Yeah, so here we are, a new year, a new theme, a day at a time, every day, oneness, every day filling ourselves with truth, every day becoming more open and available to that which is infinite in every way, in all ways. And our theme for the month, understanding. So what I'd like to do, as always, is to start us out with a few spiritual principles that I take from what Ernest Holmes titled, What We Believe. We've called them spiritual principles. There are many spiritual principles. If you'd like to have a copy of the spiritual principles that I read from on Sunday, you can go to do a search online, Ernest Holmes, What We Believe, or if you're on our mailing list, when we mail out things, there's also an opportunity there to download the list that I have. We've added some additional things to our list to go along with the spiritual principles. So this morning, we're working with spiritual principle number 1, and it says, we believe in God. The living spirit, almighty one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. We believe this one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. We believe the manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. Spiritual principle number 2, we believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. And spiritual principle number 6, we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. And finally, spiritual principle number 9, we believe in the healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of our mind. And all the principles then, we believe, 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 we believe. And if you so bold, I believe, 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 I believe. So this month then, we are taking some time to review the Science of Mind textbook written by Ernest Holmes. He is the founder of religious science, known today as Centers for Spiritual Living, which we are a part of. And many communities are going back to review the introduction section in the book this month. And we've been doing the same. In the introduction section, one can find what's foundational and fundamental to be able to change your life if you choose to do so. And those 4 introductory sections, everything that you need to know to begin to change your situations and to change the circumstances of your life are there. So, in part 1, Ernest Holmes says that, in essence, he says that we are powerful. Not just that we are powerful, but that our minds are powerful. You are powerful. You are powerful. You are powerful. And that your mind is powerful. That your mind is powerful. And we don't know just how powerful we are. At the crux in part 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the message. Believe it. You are powerful. Your mind is powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. And now it's time that we start to believe it. It's time that we start to believe it, that we have more power than we know. He encourages us in the introductory section to begin to accept our power and to become conscious of our power, to become aware of the power of our mind. Why? Because our thoughts are creative. And what that means then for us is that we have an understanding then that life is not happening to us. That we take some responsibility in it so that life starts to happen through us. We are encouraged to understand how our minds work. We are encouraged to daily take time to consider what we are thinking about. So, if you haven't had the opportunity this morning to examine your mind, to get clear about what you are thinking about, why don't we take 10, 15 seconds and you think about what you've been thinking about. Yeah. The reason for this is because many are unaware of what they are thinking about. Many of us, we don't take time to consider what we are thinking about. But what we are thinking about is our truth. And the truth that we know is the truth, or what we are thinking about becomes the thing that we believe in, and the thing that we believe in becomes the truth that doesn't set us free but binds us up. So you have to be aware of what you are thinking. As we know, it is done unto us as we believe. And last week we said there's a very distinct difference between what you say and what you believe. Two different things. And so in getting clear then about what we think, we can begin to see clearly where there is some, where what we believe and what we say are different. Otherwise, you'll go on thinking that what you are saying is what you are believing, when in fact, it's not. All of this, Ernest Holmes says, is the law of mind, that we are subject to the law of mind, meaning that something happens to our thoughts. And we have to understand this law of mind so that we can use it. If we don't understand the law of mind, then we don't know how to use it. But certainly uses it then, places the responsibility back on us to create the life we desire, or as we said last week, then to settle for the life that you have. And when I said this last week, it wasn't that I was giving us a choice. There's no choice in it. Either you are creating the life that you desire based on what you are thinking, because every thought is a prayer, every thought is a treatment, or you are settling by not being aware of what you are thinking about for the life that you already have. There's no choice in it. Like, give me a minute, let me decide. Do I want to create this, or do I want to settle for that? No, you are creating this, or you are settling for that every second that you have a thought. This is the truth of our existence every day. So it is daily that we must examine what we are thinking and what we are feeling, and choose either to continue to think the way we've always thought and experience what we've already experienced, or experience what we think we want to experience based on someone else's experience. You have a choice in it. You can keep on doing the same thing and keep getting the same thing. Or as Gene Houston suggested, we can begin to live in a radical new way. It's up to you and it's up to me to be open to this infinite intelligence that Ernest Holmes says is everywhere. And not only is it everywhere, it's within me and it's within you. Not only is it available to me, it's available to you. You are powerful. Your words are powerful. Your mind is powerful. That's really the only message I have for you this morning, to remind you, because sometimes we forget. Sometimes we forget just how powerful we are. Sometimes we forget the power of our own words. And we know in order to use this law, its requirement is that we choose a life of joy, choose a life of enjoyment, choose a life of peace, choose a life of joy. And its other requirement is that we let go. That we let go of our own way of thinking, we let go of our judgments, we let go of our opinions, we let go of our opinions of others, our opinions of ourselves. These opinions and judgments that I'm talking about, they result because we ourselves think that our needs are not met. Because we think that our needs are not met, we have opinions. Because we think that our needs are not met, we have judgments. And most of the time, what many of us are thinking about over and over and over and over again is that my needs aren't met. She didn't do what I wanted her to do. They didn't say what I wanted them to say. This didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. Most of us are stuck thinking about our needs not being met. So we're called to suspend our judgments and to suspend our opinions about this, because we are always creating the life we desire, or we're settling for the life we have. That's just how powerful our word, our thought, our belief is. If all you can think about is your needs not being met, the way it works is that the law takes you at your word. It doesn't take you, it takes you at what you are thinking. It takes you at your thought. It doesn't take you at what you say. It takes you at what you think. And if that's all you're thinking about, my needs aren't met, my needs aren't met, my needs aren't met, that's all the law can return unto you, your needs not met. If you think that I don't understand, why it's got to be this way, why it's got to be this way, why it's got to be this way, well, the universe is just giving back to you more reasons for you to ask why it's got to be this way. That's it. Ernest Holmes says, don't complicate this matter. It's very simple. Something happens with the thoughts that you think. That's simple. Everybody understands that. And what happens is that the universe, the law of mind, you activate it with your thought, and it must return unto you what you have thought. It's not going to ask you questions. Are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want to think? No. It just gets busy. It just gets busy, giving you what it is that you have said that you wanted. It doesn't matter what we say. What matters is what we believe when we say it. So we can say that all of our needs are met, but we might be believing that our needs will never be met. We might be saying that all of our needs are met while we're believing that our needs have never been met, will never be met, ain't no way they can be met. You can say that you are open to infinite love and infinite good, while settling for a little bit. That's the other side of the law and how it works. It's not just paying attention to what you are thinking, it's also so precise and so accurate in its demonstration that if you are only believing a little bit, it can only give you a little bit. So you can say that you are open to infinite love, and if you are, that'll be your experience, or you'll be experiencing a little bit. If it's all you think you can experience, it'll be all that you'll get to experience. It's degrees. You understand what I'm saying? It responds to us in degrees. So here's the thing about a little bit. We're never satisfied. You're never satisfied with a little bit. And if you're not satisfied, you won't ever be grateful. You should tell your neighbor the thing about a little bit, it's never enough. The thing about a little bit, it's never enough. A little bit of love, it's not enough. A little bit of joy, it's not enough. A little bit of money, it's not enough. A little bit of peace, it's not enough. A little bit of joy, it's not enough. And you'll never be satisfied. And if you aren't satisfied, there's nothing for you to be grateful for. So we got to be clear about what we are thinking, a little bit or a lot. Are we believing and unbelieving at the same time? If you're not satisfied then with your life, and our life is the proof of what we're thinking about. So you don't need to really, like he said, complicate it. Oh, what am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? No, just look at your life. It'll tell you exactly what you are thinking about, right? Because if any of us knew how to change our conditions by the controlling of our mind in such a way that we are experiencing life where there's so much joy, the proof would be there. We would have already done it, in other words. We would have already created the life that we desire. We would have already stopped settling for the life that we have. The proof would be in the pudding. So if you're not satisfied, then start to begin to think again. Get yourself ready for a new thought. Get yourself prepared to let go of what you've been thinking and become available so that you can think again. Begin to affirm that I'm surrounded by good. Begin to think that, that all of my needs are met. Begin to think that everything has already been given. Nothing has been withheld. Begin to think in this way. If you're not satisfied with your conditions, then think again. Decide to be open to the infinite intelligence that is around us, the infinite intelligence that is within us, because nothing is being withheld from us. In part 3 of the Science of Mind textbook, in the introductory section, though, Ernest Holmes says that what we must be or what we must become is receptive to it. Everything already is. All we have to do is open ourselves up to receive it. In our thinking, he said, it's no magical thinking that we're doing. We're just opening ourselves up to receive what already is. Some of us don't know how to receive. Some of us don't know how to receive. Or some of us are so full of our opinions and our judgments and our expectations that there's no room for anything new to enter in. Because what it does is it gives, it reveals, it tells, it imparts. But it can only tell you something if you're open to hearing it. It can only impart to you its wisdom at the level of your understanding. It can only give you what you can take. That's what it does. Part 3, what it does. It tells, it gives, it imparts, it reveals. To who? You. And mostly what it reveals and what it tells and what it imparts is it tells you about you. Mostly what it reveals, what it imparts, what it tells is where in your life you are not believing. Right? So it's like this. It's that I was watching this documentary some time ago, and I think it's called Our World or Our Universe, and they focus on different aspects of our world. This particular episode, they were focused on the sea, the ocean, and they were focused on fish and all of the mammals in the ocean. So they were showing that some fish eat other fish, and some fish eat algae. They all know where to go to get the proper nutrients. And then there are some fish who eats the rhinoceros poop, right? And so I was sitting in front of the TV and I was thinking, how did they know, right? So the picture is, it's the rhinoceros underwater, it's swimming, and a whole pool of fish, right? It's just following the rhinoceros, right? And then the rhinoceros poops, and they show the fish eating the poop, blah, blah, blah. But what I got stuck on was, how do they know? And then they showed a monkey who was set out to go get water. And the monkey, I can't remember the type of monkey, but the monkey also had the baby on the back, right? And these monkeys live where it's rather cold. And she had to get from one point to another point to get water, because she needed to have water. She put the baby on the back, and she traveled miles, 20, 30 miles with the baby monkey on her back, because she knew that there was water in other trees. But every tree doesn't have water every time. How did she know? How did she know? Now, a couple years ago, I told y'all that there was a bird in my gazebo, right? And so the baby birds were born, and the mom was holding high watch, and the dad went out to get worms. Now, sometimes the dad would go out, and the dad would come back quick, like a minute, boom, worm in the mouth, boom. Then the bird is out again. But sometimes the bird would be gone for hours and hours. And then the bird would come back with worms in the mouth. How does the bird know where to go to get the worms? Note, this isn't a question. This should give us some indication about the very nature of our own lives, so that we can begin to believe in our own power, so that we can begin to state affirmatively, I believe, I believe, I believe. I didn't say in front of the TV, what do they believe? No, I said, how do they know? And the answer is, they just know. And so do you. And so do you. And so do you. And so do you. Our power is so great that we just know. We just know. And when we can begin to believe this, then what it does, the thing itself, then what it does is it reveals to us, because we already know that we know. It tells us because we are already available to it to tell us something that we in our human state have not understood yet, or we in our human experience, we have no idea of it. But if you establish a connection with it, you must unify with it. When you establish a connection with it, the thing itself, not a God outside of you, but the power within you, when you take time daily to discover what you are thinking about or what you have been thinking about, when you take time daily to decide whether or not you are just simply rehearsing over and over again every area of your life where your needs have not been met, and make a decision to think again, then something new will be revealed to you. Then this great power will reveal to you that love is everywhere and it's infinite. Then this great power within you will begin to show you that all of your needs are met truly. Then this great power within you will begin to give you whatever the thing that you have been desiring for so long. Then this thing will begin to uncover for you things that maybe you hadn't forgotten, or maybe things that you hadn't considered, so that you can begin to affirm truly, all of my needs are met. Life is not ever just happened to me, but all of my life has happened through me. So, it's like this. What it does. This is the last kind of example I can give you. It's kind of like Santa Claus, what it does. But it's not checking to see if you've been good or bad. It's just checking to see if you believe or you don't believe. Okay. Do you believe in a power that is greater than you are? Yes. Do you believe that you are one with it? Yes. That the Spirit is individualized as you? Do you believe it? Do you believe that there's great power in your mind? Not whether or not you are good or bad, but do you believe? Yes. Do you believe? Do you believe in the great power of your mind? That's about all I got this morning. Let us be determined to understand what it does. Let us be determined to work with the law of mind within us the way that it is set up to work. Let us be willing to not to try to manage and manipulate this law of mind. Ernest Holmes says it will not be budged. Either you learn how to work with it or settle for the life you have. Come on, practitioners. Let us in this moment just begin to turn within, to acknowledge the great power and presence that is never in absence. Let us believe in it as it believes in us. Let us live in it as it lives in us. Let us this morning become so unified with this great power and presence. Let us unify with it, draw close to it, be in communion with it, make time for it, invest in it as the very truth, the substance of life, of beauty and truth itself flowing through us. Let us in this morning be so unified with it, where we are sure that nothing is being withheld and that everything has already been given. And to the degree that we can take what has been given, to the degree that we can receive what it imparts and reveals, and to the degree that we can understand what it tells us, let us know that we become it. To the degree that we can understand love and joy and peace, we become it. Because it already is in us. As we become so unified with it this morning, then, knowing that we can never be separate and apart from it, I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, that I'm open to believing it as my very life. I'm open and available to this infinite intelligence. I am willing to let go of my old thinking. I'm ready to let go of thinking that my needs are not met. All my needs are met. All my needs are met. What I don't know, I will know. What I need, I will have. What I desire now is desiring me. Let us just be willing to let anything unlike this truth, anything unlike a life filled with enjoyment and joy, let us be willing to let it go. And I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, that the great spirit within me, that the power of my word is so powerful that it transmutes, that it dissolves anything unlike it. Any thoughts of my needs not being met has got to go. It's falling away now. I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, then I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. And if I'm not satisfied, I'm going to do it till I'm satisfied. I'm going to pray until I am satisfied. I'm going to speak peace until I am peace-filled. I'm going to speak joy until I'm experiencing joy all the days. I'm going to do it till I'm satisfied. I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, no longer are we settling for the life that we had. No longer are we just turning over our responsibility of creating the life that we desire to someone else's thoughts, to someone else's thinking about their life not being, their needs not being met in their life. No, let all of us begin to affirm for ourselves and affirm for each other, all of my needs are met. All my needs are met. And then I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, I become open and available to this infinite intelligence. I become open and available to this infinite love. I become open and available to this peace. I'm open and available to this joy. I'm open and available to having my questions answered. I'm open and available to the truth now. It's leading me just as it's leading the birds. It's leading me, it's guiding me just as it's guiding the monkey in the tree. It's leading you and guiding you. You already know. I already know. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this truth. I'm grateful to know that this is the only action and activity in my life and in your life that the law is always working for our good. I am grateful to know that each one of us now is at choice of choosing and thinking again and again and again until we create the life that we desire. I'm grateful for this. And so moved in this moment simply to release my word into the law of mind that I know is always cooperating, always responding, always corresponding to the very thing that I am thinking. It is so. It is done. I accept that it is done. Why don't you join me in agreement by saying then, and so it is.
That's right.
And so as we journey on throughout our week, let me remind you what it does. It gives, it reveals, it tells. And we should be open to it until we ourselves believe, until we ourselves are satisfied. And so it is.